Well, OBS says we're live. OBS says we're live. Twitch says we're both live and offline. OBS says we have all green. Twitch says we have 0 bitrate. Hello. How's it look on your end? Because I'm getting very conflicting messages from all of my signal things. OBS says we're stable. Twitch says we're dead. Completely dead. But also somehow still live. Weird. Anyways, I'm going to keep going until something indicates that I'm dead on one of these fronts, or that I'm actually not here. Here's the plan today. If you'll remember, there's even some gelatin in there. These are the turkey necks from when I made the stock. I want to use the meat. Now, there's not a ton of meat on there, which is fine because I want to make wonton dumplings, steamed dumplings, which we haven't made in a while. I think doing them in a Thanksgiving flavor profile will be very fun, very interesting. We could really lean in on it. So that's the plan. I was also thinking maybe do some potato ones, like stuffed with potatoes, stuffed with mashed potato, like a pierogi wonton kind of thing. Selena, you're not first. I'm confused. Hi, Selena. Welcome in. Selena, I know you're lurking, but I need at least a tiny bit of words. How's the stream looking on your end? Because I'm getting wildly mixed signals from my control panels, and I don't know which one to believe. And I don't just want to start mucking about in case everything is actually good. And weird. Looks fine to you? Okay. I'll just trust it then. I'll just trust it then. Anyways, that's the plan. Today, Stan and Selena and Bookwoman. Hi. Looks and sounds good. Okay. I guess we'll just trust it. We're gonna make some mashed potatoes to start. So let's get started. Oh, it is hot today. Summer came back. It's 80 degrees. Terrible. I hate it. Just awful. I'm putting some water in a pot so that we can have some water in a pot. So if I'm going to do mashed potatoes, then they've got to be up first so they can be ready to go. Let's see, mashed potato. Big potato. And big potato. Yeah, I don't. the weather's not going autumny around here, and I'm a little mad about it. I had to take the blanket, the big blanket, off of my bed, which is just you shouldn't have to do that in October. Lame. I want to cozy, snuggle up in my blanket. I want to have warm, starchy foods and hot tea. Oh well, it's supposed to cool off. It's supposed to start cooling off tomorrow. Head down into the 70s, then head down into the 50s. So we're going to crash over the couple days. Right now I've got all my windows open. Get some last minute air. Funny shaped potatoes. MJ! MJ, you are first. Congratulations. Amazing. You beat everyone here. You're the first one to arrive. Astounding. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. How's it going? Yelpa. Yelpa. Probably saying that wrong. Hi, you're not first. Welcome in. Congratulations on being not first. How's it going? Alpha Fem, you subscribed. What are you doing? What are you doing? What have I done to deserve such treatment? Hi, welcome. Well, I've decided to start with some mashed potatoes. So we're starting with some mashed potatoes. But what's cooking is, remember these? They're turkey necks that have been pressure cooked because I wanted to make turkey stock out of them. And I held on to them so that I could use them for something else. And that something else is today. We're pulling the meat off and we're making dumplings. And then after I wrote the title, I decided it might be fun to do some mashed potatoes too. So I'm also getting some potatoes ready. And then you arrived, and that's what's been happening. Okay, get your potatoes in your cold water, and then bring the heat on. I should do that. I should actually test that, see if that old wisdom is actually true, or you're supposed to start potatoes in cold water and bring them up. Yeah, okay. Potatoes on the go. Part 2, step 2. Get out a bowl. Start pulling these necks apart. A bowl and a second smaller bowl. Bowl for good stuff. Bowl for good stuff. Bowl for bad stuff, which is mostly going to be bones. Oop. I thought I was going to sneeze for a sec. We pressure cooked these, so it should be relatively easy to get them apart. But they're also cold because they've been refrigerated. So we got to get... There's going to be a bit of a fussy thing where I kind of pull them apart. We chuck the bones over there. this side. And I would rather not lose. There's not a ton of usable meat on a neck to begin with, but it is a very flavorful meat. There's a lot of connective tissue to make it kind of a good stock. But because there's not much, I do want to be thorough in getting the bits off as much as possible. So, how was everyone's weekend? And Monday, I suppose. I had a great deal of card gaming this weekend, which was a lot of fun. Fall was canceled, summer's back. Yep. Summer 100% came back. It's a hot one. It's actually not quite as hot as it was yesterday, but still not what I would call nice fall weather. Hi, Sosceles. My AC has not been taken out of the window yet, although I have not turned it on. I'm going to do that tomorrow because it looks like it's finally going to cool off and stay there. If we're lucky. If we're lucky. Hi, Sosceles. How's it going? How's it going? What's new? What's old? But yeah, exactly that. Exactly the case of where's fall? What happened to fall? I miss it. I miss it already. All the bugs woke up. All the bugs that had been like hunkering down woke up. And half of them went inside and half of them went outside. And I had to spend the day bopping the bugs that wandered inside from their little sleeping holes. Okay. Uh, the good meat side is in a bigger bowl than it needs to be because we're going to mix things into it. And I'm just going to keep using this bowl as we go forward for mixing purposes. I should just start throwing the good bits directly in there as I get them loose. Yeah, I scoop them with my fingers because they're still stupid, like the same stupid bugs. And a cup of soapy water kills them. So I just kind of go boop, and then dunk them in the cup of water, and then flush them. The box elder bugs have not been as bad this year as in the past, but the ladybugs have been way up, and I hate them too. We're probably going to have a few pieces of cartilage that I'm going to have missed that are going in the that one. So we might just run that through with a knife, get it really minced up, so that if we do bite into a piece of cartilage, it's like a small one. Yeah, ladybugs, they do that stinky thing. Also, stink bugs. I only get a couple stink bugs, but I get a couple stink bugs every year, and they also, as the name suggests, stink. It's not super nice. It kind of stinks, actually. Oh, there we go. We're probably getting about half of their total out of these. They're lot of little bones for sure. I can't say that I'd go out of my way for neck parts for meat. If you got them, shame to throw them away. But yeah, not like a premium bit. If what you want is an eaten meat. Just because, as you can see, they're a little bit of a fuss to get any of the usable bits off of them. So yeah, I was worried about the stream because Twitch was telling me we had 0 bit rate. OBS was telling me it was perfect. When I did a speed test just ahead of starting, because that's what I've been doing these days, just to see what it says. If the internet is having stability issues, it'll show up on the speed test. My speed test came up with my upload speed being optimal, and my download speed being less than a quarter of a megabit, 0.28. Our potatoes are boiling aggressively. Turn them down a little bit. So that's why I had a weird feedback, because my signal was going out to Twitch perfectly fine, but it wasn't coming back to me to tell me how it was doing hardly at all. The preview panel is still broken. Flemish. Hi. Hello. And welcome. In. We are deboning turkey necks. And it turns out there's mostly bone. So how's it go with you? Hope your weather's nicer than mine. Although, most people would say that my weather's quite nice, but I don't like it because it's not supposed to be 80 degrees in October. I hate it. Everything is going well. That's good. It would be a shame if something wasn't. Oh, God. It's so hot. It's so hot today. And it's been really dry for weeks as well. So I'm sure the fire hazard danger today is through the roof with the 2 days of heat on top of just completely dry weather for weeks. The big chunky bit of the neck looks a little bit less pressure cooked than the rest of it. Ours is supposed to start going back to normal tomorrow and then be back to normal by like midweek, but until it does, it's miserable. Okay, just one more of these left. We can go check on the potatoes once I got them all done. That'll probably have been enough time to soften them up. There's a little bit of gelatin in the bag. And I would like to keep that if possible. So let's scrape that out. We used all of the turkey stock that came from these necks to make the gravy, and then we used all of the gravy already on the poutine. So if I want to do a gravy, I'll have to dip into the store-bought stock. I don't know if we're going to need a gravy. Hi, Max. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. How's it going? We're kicking off today with a lot of little fussy picking. And we're going to do fussy dumpling folding later, so I guess it's going to be kind of a fussy little things day. Somebody's shouting outside. I'm going to assume it's not related to me, because I live on a busy street. And there was no knock on my door. Tweety Verde. Hi. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? You're just in time for the end of this fiddly, fussy part where I pick little scraps off of neck bones. We can get into some of the more fun things. How's it going? Okay, throw the bag away. Throw the bones away. Return all of this to our board. And knife's over here. I want to make sure we don't have any like big pieces. So we're gonna, and there's some obvious big pieces. So we're just gonna kind of smash the knife through this to make them small pieces. And if we spot any bits of cartilage that I missed, we're going to pick them out. Pretty good, not complaining. Been busy. I've had a pretty busy day too. I put off a bunch of things yesterday that I should have gotten done, and I ended up doing them all today. Just, you know, general errandy stuff. We got quite a bit out of here. I was expecting a little bit less than this, honestly. So I'm pleased. We'll have ample. That looks like a pretty good general mince. And then we're going to get it in the bowl, wipe everything down, check on our potatoes. Get the wontons out of the sink. Gonna want one of these wipes, I think. This stuff is a little greasy. Okay, nice, clean. And dried. Over to the potato. Let's grab one. See how they come out. They're probably overcooked. fine, which is fine. I don't really need them to be a sturdy potato today. We can have a little bit of a mushier mash because we're doing a mash. They'll just be on the soft side for mash. Okay, let them chill out a little bit. We're going to add some garlic powder to them during the mashing. Turkey bits, mashed potatoes. Yeah, I think we start doing stuff. This shouldn't be a super elaborate long one today. We are going to need the big crazy pan with its steamer plate insert and lid. The enormous pan of enormity. It still doesn't have a proper home. It lives over in the corner, propped up with the other weirdly shaped things. How turkey and pumpkin spice is going to work together? Amazingly. So, if you don't know what pumpkin spice is, it is allspice, cinnamon, clove, ginger, and nutmeg. I also have some fresh ginger, which I think is what we're going to use, unless it looks gnarly. Fresh ginger. I've definitely done that, yes. Not very often because I'm generally following the basic rules of cooking. So it's hard to completely mess something up if you follow the basics. There was like, I don't remember exactly what was in it. It was a chocolate sauce. I tried making a savory chocolate sauce, and it was really bad. Sometimes the experimentation goes awry. So this is what's in pumpkin spice. And Chinese 5-spice, cinnamon, anise, ginger, nutmeg, clove. The only difference there is allspice. It's such a meat-friendly spice combination that, frankly, I think it's wasted on sweet things. Personal opinion. We're not adding any sugar to this. We're just using the spice blend. But if you like pumpkin spice, I strongly suggest you try it out in savory applications, especially with proteins, because it works really well. It works really well with strong flavors as well. Lamb and goat, for example, are excellent with this flavor profile. clove, cinnamon, and from past experience, you do have to go kind of hard with the spices or they get a little lost. So I am going quite a bit of the strong flavors here. They're all strong flavors. But we're doing whole allspice and whole nutmeg. Well, freshly ground on both counts, because that gives them a stronger punch. See, the pumpkin spice latte, I think, is bad. I don't like those at all. Okay, bookwoman, do your civic duty or your civic volunteering. Now, the first time I encountered pumpkin spice, I'd heard of it forever, and I knew that it was, you know, oh, it's the spices that are in pumpkin pie. That's the conceit of it. But it immediately struck me how similar it is to spice blends, not just Chinese spice, but spice blends that are used in like Turkish and Middle Eastern and North African and Moroccan, which is North Africa, but a bit different. That sort of, and Greece, sort of that, the wraparound Mediterranean region uses this same spice combination or similar spice combinations on meats, on savory applications, primarily, not in sweets. So honestly, calling it pumpkin spice is a little bit of a title bait, because I don't call it pumpkin spice, but I do for the purpose of the title. Ginger. I'm just going to take all those powders and chuck them in there, because this is the part that we're flavoring up. Turkey's also got a little bit more of its own flavor. Doing this with chicken, you might just lose the flavor of the chicken. Doing this with turkey, you're probably still going to be able to taste the turkey. Probably. Or I might have undershot my spices entirely. It's going to be hard to know until we get that far. I did this last year too, where I just started throwing pumpkin spice into a bunch of savory things because I knew it would work and I wanted to do it, and I knew people would be like, pumpkin spice in savor. So we're not running an experiment today, we're running a safe bet today. I know this works. Well, I don't know it works with turkey. I know it works in general. I assume it works with turkey because it works in general. But I suppose I could be in for a surprise today when I find this not working. I've done it with pork, and it worked with pork. Pork dumplings are a more normal thing as well. I almost feel like I want to give this last piece a... Ugh, I didn't actually wash the board. I just gave it a rinse, but now I want to use it right away. I kind of want to mince the last piece instead of grating it to give myself a few bits that are a bit more bitty. And we need the board very soon again anyways, so clean the grease off the board, dry the board, and the knife. Also, there's no pumpkin in pumpkin spice. We put pumpkin in one of these ones too. I did pork dumplings with pumpkin spice and pumpkin in them. You can't even taste the pumpkin. It's when people complained that there was no pumpkin in the Starbucks thing, I laughed at them because it's not in there because it's not a spice, and also you can't taste it. Pumpkin doesn't taste like a lot. Putting it in there doesn't affect the flavor. It affects the texture. Pumpkin is a very good thickener. We discovered that a couple times. It really likes to the starches really want to thicken up things. It's hard to make a liquidy cooked pumpkin thing because it just wants to set. It really, really wants to solidify itself. Okay, all of that ginger in there. Going hard on the ginger. Get a little bit of powdered ginger as well. Oop. Powdered ginger is much, much weaker than the fresh stuff, but it'll be easier to get it really well incorporated in here. The turkey's a little on the dry side. We might have a hard time getting nice little lumps of it. Also, it needs some scallions, which we just picked up some fresh scallions. Probably need some garlic too. I'm going to go with the powder today. Fresh, I call them scallions, but green onions. We'll do 3. We'll do 3. Haven't talked about this in a while, but you can, if they've got the little roots on the ends like this, if you cut like that much, you could plant these and they'll grow new tops. And you can cut those tops over and over and over again and get free green onions for a long time. They don't last forever, but they do keep producing more green onion tops. And they're like, you water them sometimes when they look a little dry. They're really, really forgiving to take care of. Cybertrash, hi, welcome. Pumpkin definitely has less taste than butternut. If you want that pumpkin-y flavor, get a butternut squash. It's the same flavor profile, but the butternut squash is stronger. Carving pumpkins especially have, they're bred for being very sturdy so you can carve a face into them. They have very, very little flavor, and you have to cook them to death to eat them because they're so hard. The kind of pumpkin you use for eating is a different kind of pumpkin, much softer, much more similar in texture to other eating squash, but it doesn't have a lot of flavor either. I'm going a little slow on the green onions because I know this knife is not quite up to scratch and I don't want to just mangle these things. Well, I'm glad to be inspiring someone to do something right. Normally I inspire only evil. Although I suppose your cooking could end up being evil. It's too soon to tell. If I had a sharper knife, I'd go through these faster because I wouldn't feel the need to press down quite as hard. Probably means I need to take this knife in and get it retouched. Okay. We'll get all those guys mixed in there. Frikadeller and rye bread. I don't know what frikadeller is, but it sounds Northern European. Okay. The moisture from the onions should help this form something that we can like pinch off little globs of. But let's find out if I have to add anything to it. You can smell the spices, especially the clove and cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice and ginger. Ground pork mixed with flour, milk, oatmeal, spices, meatballs. Sounds like a meatball. Sounds like meatballs to me. A fatty meat, a binder, a moistener, and some flavoring. That's how you make a meatball. You've got pork, which is pretty fatty meat, a binder, that's the flour, milk to moisten it up, and flavor, spices. Speaking of flavor spices, there's no salt in this because we did not salt those turkey necks before we did the thing with them. So we put some salt in. And we put some black pepper in. And you know what? I'm gonna just call an audible on all of my spices and throw in some extra because I feel like it's gonna be under. I do have some ground allspice, so I don't have to grind additional fresh. But I want the flavors to come through, so I'm gonna shoot a little strong on all of them. Except for the nutmeg, which we do not have pre-ground. I only use whole nutmegs. Because whole nutmegs, these things, they keep forever, and they're very, very easy to grind. Well, this is what's going in them. Turkey neck, our pumpkin spice blend, plus salt and pepper and scallions. That's the intent, is for this to be what's inside of them. And we have some potatoes on the side because I had the bright idea of doing some with mashed potatoes in them, which sounds very much like pierogi. Which is pretty much the entire reason I wanted to try it. I was like, can you do pierogi with wonton skins? So we're gonna find out if you can do pierogi with wonton skins. I can see the spices, so there's enough in there that they haven't like disappeared. I hope that means they're enough in there. What I don't want is to get through all of this and for them to be like, oh, they just taste like dumplings. I want that spice blend to jump. Dry this off. That's all onion juice because it was very green when I wiped it up. We're not making our own skins. We've got pre-made ones that are glaring so bad you can't see them. There they are. And we need to prep the steamer. So I don't have a multi-level steamer, but I have a wide steamer. And it just needs water underneath it. And then some parchment paper on the top so that it doesn't stick. And what we'll do is we'll fill this up once. It can handle more water than that. You just don't want the water to hit the bottom of the stuff that you've got in there. You want the thing to ride above, but there's plenty of room. I don't have circle parchment paper. The last time we used this, actually, the last time I used this for steaming, I did cabbage leaves. And I've got a cabbage here. So I think I'm going to try to use cabbage leaves again, although that was for steamed buns. It should still work. I like doing it with cabbage leaves if possible, because they impart a little bit of flavor, and they're much easier to shape around the post in the middle than a piece of parchment that you got to poke a hole in, and parchment comes out square. So I guess there's the hack for today. You can use cabbage leaves as a liner for steaming things. And then at the end, you also have steamed cabbage if you want it. It's perfectly edible, it's just kind of boring. There. Okay, then we will put our dumplings on top of that bed for steaming. And then we'll do this, I guess we'll just do batches until we run out of something. I mean, it's a hack, but it's also like a really traditional Chinese thing for steam buns to use cabbage. So, you know, can't take credit. It's a hack, but I can't take credit. It was a hack created thousands of years ago in China. Thank you, thousands of years ago, China. What would we do without you? We need a little dish of water. And we need to mash those potatoes. And by mash, I mean ricer. Streamer canceled for stealing ancient Chinese secrets. Guilty as charged. Ancient Chinese secrets are mine. They're mine now. You made this, ancient China? I made this. I feel like we're going to have more mashed potatoes than I'm going to need, which is fine, because that means I'll just have extra mashed potatoes. There's no such thing as too many mashed potatoes, because mashed potatoes are amazing. Okay, mashed potatoes. Get all of this in the sink really quick. From experience, if you let the potato dry into the masher, into the ricer, it becomes completely adhered solid. So we're just filling that pot with water and immersing the ricer in it so that when I get to it later, it's not hardened and a nightmare. Turns out, wet starch that you let then dry is how you make glue, old-fashioned paste. Still works today. We did let the potatoes dry out a little bit. I'm adding some garlic powder, garlic mash, and some cream. Okay, Flemish, take care. If you get back, I may or may not be here. But as always, there'll be pictures in Discord. And, you know, you can also just ask me about how things went. I kind of like the new container. It's a new container for cream. Kind of like the new container, except the top is all plastic now. It used to be just a cardboard carton, but now it's cardboard on the sides. But this whole top piece is plastic, and having more plastic doesn't seem like a positive change in general. Get my hands in there to get this all evenly combined into a blob of mash. Okay. Okay. On to wontoning. Dumplinging. Dumping. On to dumping. Oh, I immediately spilled my, well, whatever. We were going to make a mess regardless. Someday I'll make these for real, but it will just be as a sort of fun thing. Because, boy, buying these pre-made is the way to go, for sure. You'll never get them as even. Just never. Okay. Use my little spoons as, oh, that one's measuring spoons. And we just take a scoop. Put it in the middle. Wet the edge. Fold and fold. Because we could even fold the top down and make like little envelopes. Number one. Now we just do that a million more times. And all you need to make a wonton wrapper stick together is wet. I'm doing this shape because I saw this shape today when I was doing my preliminaries My research preliminaries was, oh, those are adorable, little parcel shape. Awesome. We're doing that. And this is your life for a while. Probably don't need to do all four sides. You probably just do the two downward sides because they're going to touch each other and wet regardless. When I'm folding the corners of the parcel in, I'm also not wetting both parts and it's sticking just fine. So this is the kind of thing where you get some buddies or your family and you just kind of do this for a while, hang out, chit chat, real chill, real easy, and you get tasty dumplings at the end. Doing it by yourself is, not gonna lie, gets a little tedious. I'm just gonna keep alternating between the turkey and the mash until we run out of something or we fill up our steamer, which is going to happen first. Definitely the third thing is going to happen first. Oop. I might be overfilling it just slightly with the turkey mix because I'm having a hard time pinching them together sometimes here already. You also don't want to get a lot of air in there if you can help it. If you're frying them, for sure you don't want any air in there because it will attempt to escape, explode outward. We're steaming these, so they run very little risk of catastrophic explosions. Biggest danger you've got here is just they might unfold if there's something in between the sides of the fold. Sweet Conformity, hi, welcome, welcome. How's it going? We're just having a real chill dumpling making party at the moment. But welcome, welcome. Live vicariously during office work. Amazing. Well, you're welcome here. You're welcome to lurk, hang out, chit chat, whatever you please. If you want to see, I forgot to pin this. If you want to see pictures of our finished product, I post those in my Discord, which we are going to there we go. There. Although if you stick around here, you get me tasting them and talking about how they taste at the end of the stream, which I think is more interesting than just seeing the pictures. But I know not everyone can stick around. Oh, we're not boiling these. We're doing a steam. We're doing steam. What we've got on this side is a bed of cabbage. And then the bottom of the pan is full of water. And once this is full up, I'm going to put the thing on. We're going to steam them. I'm going to keep folding more while they steam. This first batch, unfortunately, does not get to double duty. What was that last one I just did? Potato. I'm trying to alternate between the meat and the potato ones to get an even number at the end. So yeah, little steam dumplings today. That's the plan. And I can't do any of the fancy like crimped folds. Probably could if I practiced, but I've never practiced. This one is definitely overfilled. But you don't need the fancy crimped folds. The fancy crimped folds are for fancy. If all you want is tasty dumplings. Wow, this one is absolutely overfilled. That one might actually no, you know. Yeah. Steaming them on top of cabbage is a hack. And we talked about it a little second ago. It's not my hack. It's actually thousands of years old. Because in the early days of the invention of the dumpling, people had the problem of them sticking to the steamer. But parchment paper hadn't been invented yet, so they had to come up with something. And the something was cabbage. You'll see it more often for steam buns than for these kind of like wonton things. But it should work fine here, I would think. I don't have a steamer basket, but I did get lucky at a thrift store, and that pan that's back there came with, first of all, it's a very large pan. It was in excellent shape. It came with a fitted, perfectly sized steel plate that's raised up for steaming. But before I found this thing, I just had one of these, oh, it's still in here somewhere. Well, you know, one of those ones that looks like a flower that sort of opens up like a flower. You can fit those into any old pot. They got little legs on the bottom so that you can fill the bottom with water. As for having excuses to not cook, how dare. Cooking is its own reward. Plus, you get the reward of delicious food at the end. No, I know people don't have the time or the will sometimes. potato. And the mashed potato ones, I'm hoping are going to end up being like pierogies. This is garlic mash. Pierogies are a little fussier to make for real. What I should be doing is starting at the outer corners and pinching it toward the middle. So that I'm ensuring that the outer corners are done. Because pierogies are like a pasta dough, and they need to be boiled. But they're real tasty. They're starch on starch. They're a very Northern European thing. Starch filled with a different starch. They're not as pretty when I fold them toward the middle. The points just aren't quite lining up. This would be a good way to make a wonton soup, because then you could just shred that cabbage and throw it in to the soup at the end as well. Because the cabbage isn't going to be ruined by this. It's going to be cooked. It's going to be steamed cabbage. What was that last one? Meat. Alpha Fam wants a moisten. I can do that. Thank you for the moisten. Moist. A lot of moistening going on right now. What with these wonton dumplings. Yeah, they look much prettier when you start at the point, fold down, and then fold the corners over. We got room for a few more, but it's going to be really just a couple more before I get over there and start cooking them. You can already tell that is overfilled. As tempting as it is to overfill your dumplings, it never works out in the end. They just either won't close up or they burst. You think, oh, I'll just really stuff it in there, because I like a lot of stuff. It doesn't work with dumplings. It's got to be the right amount, or they explode. Or more frequently, they just fail to seal. All the stuff falls out, which, if you are making that soup, would ruin your soup. Because then you wouldn't have wonton soup, you'd have empty wontons floating around in flavored soup, which is a different dish, but it's Probably not what you're going for. Wonton wrap soup. Because they're like noodles. I've done a couple different things. These pre-made wonton skins are so versatile. I've used them for a bunch of different things, and I often will keep them just in the freezer because they freeze really well. I'll keep them in the freezer for random things. We made chips out of them. That was very good. It was a no oil baked chip. So they were also like really healthy. Well, as healthy as you can be with them being essentially noodles. But they're like noodles. They're similar to an Italian pasta, and you can do a lot of the similar things with them. It's a super versatile ingredient. They're cheap to just buy one of these bricks, and they freeze, and they, like, the very outermost one is going to look a little gnarly after being frozen, but all the ones inside look perfectly fine. It's just the one that's on the surface. Once you thaw them out, then you do have to use them. That is the downside. The brick kind of has to get used up. It does not want to be refrozen. But they're such a good ingredient that once you've opened them up, you're probably going to find ways to go through them. Okay, one more, and then we actually get to the steam. I knew this part was going to be time consuming. And chill. Let's just chill, chit chat, talk about things. How was your day? Tell me about your day in a non-doxing way. I'm going to ignore the dings from my phone in the other room. I assume it's just I'm in a group message and getting side dings rather than the actual direct messages to me. There we are. We're full up. So we put the lid on, put the heat on medium high. I want to get it to a simmer. I don't want it to boil away because we might burn the pan. What was all those dings? Come on. It was literally what I said, group message. Slide back over here, keep making the things. Bought ingredients for roast chicken, corned beef. I don't know, roast chicken and corned beef both sound quite fun and exciting to me. Did you buy pre-corned beef? We did that once. Corned a beef brisket. Got a fresh beef brisket. Beef brisket. And brined it ourselves. It takes a while. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. It's super, super easy. You make a brine and then you pour it on there, and just every 12 hours you got to flip it so that it's not floating. So it's just, but it's every 12 hours for 10 days you have to do that. It has to live in the brine. It was very, very tasty. If you've got the space for it, and the wherewithal to flip a piece of meat every 12 hours, I would say give it a try. It's worth giving a try. The most annoying bit was trying to find the right kind of curing salt, and I ended up doing a chemistry experiment to make my own curing salt. I got a tray out since I can't put these directly into the steamer. over on the side here, so I'm going to, I don't want them to stick to the tray, so you can order it online, the pink curing salt. They don't sell it in stores because it's mildly toxic. Well, it's actually extremely toxic. It's not mildly toxic, it's extremely toxic. You're only supposed to use a teensy tiny bit of it. They don't generally sell it in stores because they don't want people picking it up thinking it's salt and using it like salt and poisoning themselves. So the idea of is if you're ordering it, you must know what it is. And I didn't order it. I just did some chemistry. Which worked out great. Because that's what gives it that nitrate salt is what gives corned beef that bright, distinctive pink color. It'll taste the same without it, but it won't have that vibrant pink color. Which, if you're making corned beef, you want it to look like corned beef. So that's my advice. Find a curing salt with nitrate in it to give you that pink, that bright pink look. Yes, like mint ice cream. Yeah, no, exactly. Mint does not make things green. The green parts of the mint are not the parts of the mint that make things taste minty. The green part of the mint plant is just some chlorophyll. So the mint flavor doesn't have any color. But it would be weird if it wasn't colored something different from white. People would be weirded out if they had a pure white ice cream that was mint. Speaking of mint, all my mint died because it's fall. It'll probably come back. I mean, I say died. All the top parts died. It'll probably come back next year because you can't hardly kill mint when you try. Yeah, we made ice cream here too. I made a couple of ice creams, and I did have to put colors into some of them to make them look like the things they're supposed to look like. I made a blueberry ice cream, and I did have to put blue dye in it because not only did the blueberries go for, take it in a purple direction, but also the color was really weak. So it was this like pale lilac color. And I wanted it to be blue because I was doing it for 4th of July, so I wanted red, white, and blue. So I wanted it to be actually blue, so I had to put some blue dye in that one. On the other hand, the raspberries did the red all on their own, so sometimes it works. And vanilla is also actually not white. The white flavor should not be vanilla. Vanilla is brown. Real vanilla, very, very brown. But we've decided that vanilla is white for reasons. We've also decided that vanilla is generic instead of an exotic spice, which it is. It's a tropical exotic spice. I can hear the water simmering in the bottom of that pan, so we are in process. I don't really have a timer going for it. We'll turn it down from medium high to just medium, just to keep the simmer going. All we need in there is for it to be steamy. We don't need it to be vigorously boiling away at the bottom. It just needs to boil enough to maintain hot steam in the pan. Oh, so what's everyone else having for dinner? Or lunch or breakfast? I don't know what time zone you're in. I always love to hear about you guys' foods as well. You already told me, sweet conformity. I think I already asked. I ask repeatedly for new people who arrive. Should I call you conformity or should I call you sweet? I was kind of defaulting to conformity. Bit easier, whichever you prefer. Okay. Sweet it is. Sweet. I need to do dessert practice. Desserts are for sure my weakness. Whenever we have extra time and I'm like, okay, I have extra time, I'll try a dessert, it never comes out. I mean, it's edible, and it usually has sugar in it, so it's at least sweet and dessert-like, but it's never, like, impressive. I'm never really, like, happy with it. Probably because I'm trying to smash it out at the end when I have some extra time. And you should be planning those out from the start. Oftentimes, you want to start making the dessert before you start making the main because the dessert takes that much longer. Um, but also, desserts are my big weakness, just in general. Sugar work, baking are both for sure my weakest field of cooking. If I can't like sample stuff partway through, I have less idea of where I'm going, and you can't really sample baking stuff until it's done. You just have to know where it's going to end up. Swap the baking soda and the baking powder in scones. Oh. Um, yeah, well, there is baking soda in baking powder, but also they're not the same thing. So that'll that'll heck your thing up for sure. I just did a meat one. Potato. Probably check on those guys that are in the pan soon. But yeah, we don't do a ton of baking around here. We've done some bread. Bread is the most common thing I do in baking. We do roasts. I don't know that I've ever made scones. Or scones. Okay, I'm going to do this one because it'll have finished out a row on my tray. And then we will go take a peek at the ones in the steamer. See if anybody's burst open. See how they're coming along. They're probably ready to come out. Just guesstimating the amount of time they've been in there. Feels like they're probably ready to be taken out. It doesn't take that long to steam things that are this small. So let's slide on over. Grab a pot holder. There's a plume of steam coming out the side, so we have our steamy interior. Nobody's burst. The wrappers look pretty cooked. All of the interior, all the fillings were cooked, so we don't have to worry about that. We just have to sort of, we want them to be mostly intact. They look pretty good. They look pretty good to me. If we... Also, the cabbage has become slightly greener. If we stack them up, they'll stick to each other. So how am I going to hold them until we do our plating? Our fancy plating is going to be on this plate today, because I feel like I can make an array of them. Big tray. Okay. Big tray, parchment. Whoop. Ha ha. Very steamy. Getting something a little bit longer to get these guys out of here. Unless I can grab them by the little tips. I can. That's how you get them out of there. Oop. Oh, they stick to everything. Well, except parchment paper. And cabbage. Oh, and each other. Okay. That's the way to do it. Grab the little tops of the envelopes. Once the surfaces have dried out just a little bit, they won't want to stick to each other quite so aggressively. Hopefully. I was worried we wouldn't be able to. Well, I wasn't worried. I was thinking we wouldn't be able to tell which ones were potato and which ones were meat, but they have gone very see-through, so it is definitely not a challenge to tell them apart. I almost want to say we should oil the outsides of them lightly to prevent them from sticking to each other. Yeah, they look good. Let's get the new ones in there. And I'm not going to bother making sure it's completely full. I'm just going to plunk the top on and keep going. I don't think the shape I did for these is conducive to pan frying, because the backs of them, I don't think so. I think you'd want a different shape. You'd want the seal to be opposite the face where you're frying them, because I think that is the part that is at most risk of splitting. I haven't tried it, but that isn't what I was thinking. I was thinking these were just going to be steamed dumplings. We could try frying a couple of them, see what happens. There's going to be a lot of them, so we can give it a go. Experimentation is part of the fun around these parts. I'm going to have to concoct a sauce. It's going to be a simple sauce. But they're going to be a little dry without a sauce. We probably have one good batch left worth of the skins. So I guess that'll be my target. Just finish the skins. That should be 3 batches. But no, there's a million variations of dumplings. I think every culture in the world has created a dumpling. So you probably wouldn't offend the god of dumplings by making one like this and then frying it. My rule for food in general is there's no rules for food. If it tastes good, then you've done it right. If it doesn't taste good, then you've probably done it wrong. If you would like it to taste good in a different way, then just do that next time. Don't be mad at the thing you've made. Just, do it again. It's only a fail if you can't eat it, because it is food. Which, tangent, is why I hate putting gold on food. That trend, I'm glad it's kind of faded away. That trend was the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in terms of a culinary trend, because it's not food. Gold is not food. You cannot eat it. Ugh. Anyways, tangent over. That one made me really mad. That one made me really mad. I like this shape. I don't know who came up with doing these as little, like, envelopes, but it's a great shape. I've struggled in the past to get a good shape that holds. And this is a really simple solution without doing the crimp, like the fancy crimp, because the fancy crimps are very fiddly, very traditional, very fiddly, and they don't affect the flavor, so I don't super care about them. But these little parcel envelope shapes, they're so cute. We might, probably won't get quite through all the potatoes, but we're doing a good job on the potato. We're definitely not going to get through all of the turkey meat. There's going to be some extra, and the quickest way to eat that is going to be to just mix it with the potatoes. Have like a bowl. Do one of those KFC bowls. So, sweet. You are new here. It's not always this chill. Sometimes it's complete chaos. When I try to do too many things at once, lose track, burn stuff, flailing around. Today we just ended up with a really sort of relaxed thing to make. And even the meat is actually leftovers from last week, or from another project. So I didn't even have to cook it. It was already cooked for me, by me. So it's been very chill, very chill. That one is gonna have sealing problems. I got some of the filling in the seal. We have one, two, four wrappers left. So this is the home stretch. We are just going to do all four of them, and then we're going to check on the ones that are in there. And then while this batch is steaming, we will work on a sauce for the lot of them. I have an idea. Which means we're probably going to do that idea, because that's the idea I have. Which is to try to make like a cranberry based, because I've got cranberry, like the cranberry, like Thanksgiving style cranberry sauce. I was thinking of using that to try to make like a sour, a salty sour dip for these guys. Final two. I'm going to do both of these meat, just to even out the amount of meat and the amount of potato I have going in as leftovers, because I think they will be nicer if they're a little bit more balanced out when I just chuck them in a bowl and eat them tomorrow for lunch or something. Okay, these wrappers right at the end, the ones that were closest to the top, that is the topmost one there, just a scooch harder to work with. Not egregious. I'm gonna make the wrinkly part on the inside for this one. Max, hi. You've already been here. Was the woo for the last one? I know. Folding dumplings is not like the most thrilling thing in the world. In fact, it's probably one of the chillest and least exciting things we do around here. It's just this. Oh, follower goal. Oh, I didn't even see it 1 minute ago. Thank you so much for the follow. We achieved the target on the follower goal. I wasn't even looking. Thank you so much. Yeah, I enabled those goals. We don't have anything like planned for the goal, but it was like it was a milestone for something. I have to look now. It was a milestone for something in Twitch's internals, which means I qualify for something different now. I will have to check. Wow, exciting. I didn't realize I was one away. 250 followers. I will have to do a 250 followers celebration. Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for the follow. Let's check on these dumpers. Where did I put my... There. Dumpers. I mean, they look right. Let's get those out of there. We're probably going to add a little bit of water to the bottom to make sure that we don't boil it dry. They're almost not too hot to pick up, but then they are too hot to pick up. They're just not hot enough that I can kind of get almost them picked up, and then they burn me. Okay, a couple of these have definitely sort of released their seals, so I'm glad I did the fold over because it's giving me extra security, so nobody has just flapped open. Good thing I'm extra hungry today. I had a light lunch. Okay, some extra water. Oops, try to get it on the edge so it doesn't pool on the top of the cabbages. And then we put our last batch in. The cabbage has gone yellowish on account of having been definitely a bit overcooked at this point. We did end up with a little puddle right there, which should be okay. Lid on, get to steaming. Okay. While those guys are steaming, we're gonna concoct a sauce. Now I'm using this plate. We haven't used this plate before. It's newish. I'm using this plate. So my sauce wants to be ideally in a complementary bowl. But I should probably build the sauce just in one of my mixing bowls. Okay, the idea I had was we have the extra cranberry here. Now this is too thick to use as a wonton dip, but it has a good strong sour flavor. So if we take a dollop of that and we add to it some vinegar, some sesame oil, a little bit of chili oil, and a bit of the old soy. That's going to be the starting point, and I'm going to riff until we get something I think sounds like a winner. It's thick. Sour, a little bit sweet, tangy, sour and tangy, salty. Sesame's giving it a little bit too much. Sesame. Just a tiny bit of water. Wants some bite. It wants a little bit of a bite. If I give it just a smidge of sambal oelek, 2 smidges. 2 smidges of sambal oelek. Looks like a smidge is about half a teaspoon. And if I want it to stick with the cranberry, we need a little bit more of that as well. Or it's not going to come through. A little bit, some stringy bits in there. Oh, it's much sweeter. Sweet. Just a tiny bit of heat on the end, but it's getting lost. I don't know that I want it to be really hot though. I think a tiny bit is all I was after. It needs a little bit more salt now. I'm just going to go with actual salt instead of more soy. I don't really want to amp the savoriness up. It just needs a pinch of the saltiness. We could put garlic in there, but there's garlic in both of the fillings. So we probably don't need additional garlic. That's probably it. It definitely is chunky. It's lumpy in a way I don't really enjoy. You can't see the lumps because it's also quite opaque. Got enough cranberry. The cranberry comes through. I almost want to strain it just to get the lumps out, which sounds excessive. Do I strain it to get the lumps out? Because the lumps are the part that I'm kind of not thrilled with. I wish I had a little tiny strainer. The small strainer I have is the medium-sized one. Should keep an eye out for tiny strainers, or just get one. It can't be that hard to find. I think Therefore, I do something dumb. That strainer is a tea strainer and it is too fine. Yeah, I feel like I don't want to get my strainer dirty. I wish I had a small one, and I don't want to get the medium-sized one dirty for this. Because I don't think it's quite worth the trouble. So we're just gonna say it's gonna have some lumps in it, and I'm gonna try to scoop around the lumps. Actually, why didn't I think of that? Because I don't want it to be like, it doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. It just wants to not have the big chunky pieces in it. So I'll just run a fork through it, take out the biggest, chunkiest bits. I almost did this really, really tediously when it was actually super easy to just do that. There. There, delumped. Delumped the easy way with a fork. Who needs a strainer when you just have a fork? Wow, follower goal. I would say these goals are important, but they're super not. I forgot I had even set that one. It's exciting. Okay, so then our cranberry dip goes in the middle of the plate. The lumpy bits get to the side. And we can start assembling. Kinda. Yeah, I'm just gonna start assembling. Oh, we can definitely get more of the potato ones in there. Okay, they are going to stick together a little bit now that they're on the plate, but not quite as badly as if they had, as they do when they're right out of the thing, because the skins have dried out a little bit, and it's the wet that makes them stick. Now, if you let them too long, they'll dry out completely, and then they will be gross. Dry and crunchy, which you don't want. Nobody wants a dry, crunchy dumpling. You want a soft, nice dumpling. And that probably means we should check on the ones in the steamer one last time. How do they look? They look right. So the freshest ones should be the ones most visible, ideally. Now you really want to stick on the tongs. Yeah, the heat's off. We definitely have more than I can fit on that plate. Okay. Okay. That doesn't look good. I like better when they're sort of tiled into each other rather than just resting on top. That which probably means the tray is full. So I guess that's my finished plate. Oh, you guys are over there. I guess that's going to be my finished plate. We have a few extras. But for the most part, we got the majority of them on here. I'm going to go take a picture of this, and then we're going to dive in and do the old taste. Everyone's favorite part, the tasting. And I won't even need to spoil my beautiful plate to taste them, because I can taste the fresh ones. The freshest ones, I should say. They're all fresh. What is that clattering sound? Bizarre. The instant I walked out of the room to take a picture, there was a clattering sound. Okay, coming back. We return. Returno. Okay, let's get to tasting. I'm very curious about especially the potato ones. So I'm going to start with the turkey one because it's the one I'm the most confident in. Ooh, the sauce is nice and thick. Mmm, mmm, mmm. Ooh. All right. I got to taste one of those without the sauce because there's something going on and I want to know. So, another turkey one. Naked. Got that chewy wonton skin. When you get into it, it's savory. Mm. It's got a distinctive spice to it. I'm getting the heat of the cinnamon. I'm getting a lot of allspice. I may have gone a little bit overboard on the allspice. The allspice is kicking in. It's got this interesting like spiced piquancy to it. I did go quite hard on the spices, and I can definitely taste the spices. It reminds me of like Moroccan spiced meat, which I mentioned in my beginning, and yeah, that's the kind of vibe I get from these things. The turkey is rich, tender, slightly greasy, which is good. You want a little bit of a fattiness in there. It's tasty. I wanted to be sure that where the spice was coming from, because the first one hit me with more spice than I was expecting. Because this sauce isn't terribly spicy. I was wondering, is the sauce jumping up with spice when you have it with something? But no, it's the filling. The sauce is sour. The sauce actually goes really well with the flavors going on in there, because the sauce is salty and sour and sweet, which are the things that are not in here. So between the sauce and these guys, they make a complete like flavor combo. Mm. That tangy sweet sauce. Mm. Mm-hmm. So they're pretty good on their own. They're much better with the sauce. They definitely benefit greatly from the sauce. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, now before I dip this one in the sauce, let's just try the potato one blank. See how it is. I'm hoping these are going to end up like pierogi. They're definitely going to be chewier than pierogi because wonton skin is denser, and steaming it this way also doesn't soften it as much as boiling it would. But they're filled with garlic mashed potatoes, so I'm hopeful. Chewy. Mmm. Starchy. Mmm. They needed some salt. Mmm. They need some salt, for sure. They are undersalted on the inside. And I think that's holding them back. It's a good flavor, but it's really muted. And it doesn't taste like there's any salt in there at all. I'm trying to think back if I remembered to salt the potatoes, and I don't think I did. I think the mashed potatoes are literally completely unsalted, which would explain why they're a little undersalted. But they would only need a tiny, tiny pinch because they're only a little undersalted. To the point where you might even just salt the outside of them, give them a little like sprinkle. Now they've all dried up a little bit, so the salt won't stick. How do I fix the fact that they're undersalted at this stage? I don't think I can, except with a dip. And wouldn't you know it, I made a sweet, sour, salty dip. So let's see if that saves them. Although the sour is not exactly what they're asking for. It's better, but the sour and the cranberry kind of overwhelm now. It's a very delicate, mild flavor. I think I want 2 sauces for this. No. It's the easiest thing ever. I'll just dip these in the Ivar from Friday. They're like a faintly garlicky kind of blank starch flavor. Not bad. They just need it needs waking up. I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna salt it directly. And see if that does what I think it's. 100%. That's what it needed. It just needed a pinch of salt in the mashed potato. Wow, that's so much better with some salt. Wow. It wakes up the flavors. It wakes up the creaminess of the cream I put in there. It wakes up the garlic. Oh, wow. It is 100%. It just needs a little bit of salt. Whoa. Okay. Well, so for those of you following along, go back 2 hours and add some salt to your mashed potatoes. Because without it, they're kind of bland. Anyways, I think that's all my tasting notes. The turkey ones came out really good. They're a little overspiced, but that is fine because they balance out with the sauce really well. And the potato ones are definitely a thing worth remembering. Just don't forget to put some salt in them, because starch on starch needs a little something to wake it up. Otherwise, it's real bland. Which is a bit unfortunate, but I guess I'll just have to be. I guess I'll just kind of have to have them with something. Mustard? You don't really usually get like a salty condiment that's just salt. Gravy, honestly. What they want is some gravy, because gravy is just kind of a savory salt condiment. And that's what they want. They want just some sort of plain saltiness. Okay, well, I guess that's the show today. I know it was real slow and chill. We hit our follower goal, which I should probably do some kind of celebration and set a new goal. So thanks for that. Thanks for the new faces. Welcome to the whatever nonsense this is. I don't even know. Thanks to Alpha Fem for the sub. Welcome back. Oh my god, I missed it. I completely missed it. Alpha Fem subscribed for 6 months in advance. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the heck? What the heck? That's whoa. Okay. I guess I'm roped in for 6 more months. Wow, that's wow. Okay. Anyways, we've run slightly long again, so I'm going to rate us out before we get too much longer. Let's see who's on from the follow list. Miss Molly is still doing brownies. Alana is off already. LaFay is playing spooky games, and we haven't seen LaFay in a hot minute, so we're gonna go see LaFay. Friend of the channel, friend of everyone, uh, one of the top streamers on all of Twitch, LaFay. If you don't know LaFay, you're missing out. Um, she's playing Observation Duty 2, which is the weirdest of that already weird series, and it's a spooky game for Halloween. So brace yourselves. It's gonna be a thing. Thanks, MJ. I'm gonna put a serious dent in these dumplings because, as I mentioned, I had quite a light lunch, so I'm pretty hungry. Although these things are pretty dense, so I don't think I'm gonna get through all of them. I hope this wasn't too dull. It was a lot of doing sort of fiddly things with my hands, which I expected. I knew it was going to be that. I should have started early to account for that, but I didn't because I was worried about the internet. So yeah, I'll be back on Friday. Actually, oh, I should. No, that'll be fine. That's in the morning. I have a thing on Friday, but that's in the morning, so that won't conflict at all unless something goes horribly wrong. So plan for Friday. Uh, yeah, I'll see you next time. There's the countdown. Bye.